Alright, we're out here doing a little compare and contrast between two AK rifles that are getting a lot of comparing and contrasting this year. Starting with the Arsenal SLR-104FR. This gun just came out in January. You can read a lot about it online. There's a couple of very in-depth reviews, so we won't go too much into that. But what the SLR-104FR is a Bulgarian-built AK-74, which is a side-folding version. And just because of how Bulgaria does things, how Arsenal does things, they kind of quit, modernizing the platform. That's not to say it's obsolete, but they didn't integrate a lot of the later changes that Izhmash and Russia did. So this gun is a really nice, a good example of a Soviet/Bulgarian pattern AK-74 from the early to mid-80s. Now, these come in with polymer furniture and your choice of either a polymer buttstock or a triangle folder. This one came in as a polymer folder, and I added the furniture. This is a Bulgarian side folding stock. If I can fold it here, like all of these are stiff, you can see it here. This locks in. Has the ribbing on the back, so you know it's Bulgarian. And these are Bulgarian AK-74 handguards with the palm swell. I believe these came from Apex Parts. I bought a few of them and picked one of the nicer sets to put on this guy. But this gun is chambered for the 5.45 by 39 caliber. Takes standard high-capacity magazines. Has 24mm threads on the barrel, removable AK-74 muzzle brake, bayonet lug, accessory lug, of course the standard sling that it comes with, just a Bulgarian military sling. Has the side scope rail, which is a little inaccurate for an earlier 74, but they did make a few with rails called the AK-74Ns, so we'll call it that. Yeah, these are quite popular because they're coming out of Bulgaria, built from new parts. The trunnion is dated 2013. Serials all match. Nice paint over parkerized finish. Has the earlier style AKM type ribbed dust cover up here. Chrome line 16-inch barrel. The usual features. It's a very good, very reliable gun. No complaints really anyone's expressed over these. There was a little bit of talk about front sight cant. One person out of 1,000 gets a gun with a canted front sight and everyone's worried that every other gun is, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I've probably sold 30 of these to the store and none of them had any notable cant to the front or rear sight, so that seems to just be kind of an anomaly that crops up from time to time. Price-wise, these are out right now at about the $1,100 price point. They come with one 30-round mag. They come with a Bulgarian mag. In this one right now, it was a Russian mag. It's just what we had out here shooting today, made by Izhevsk. Got the little triangle down here. It's a plum color. But yeah, I set this one up to be like an AKS-74, and this one has been compared a lot to an earlier Arsenal and now FIME rifle, which we'll show you in just a second. And this is the rifle that the SLR-104FR is compared to a lot online. This is a Russian SGL31-94. This one was imported by Arsenal. More recently, they've been imported by FIME Group. We've already had one video on this, so I'll just kind of abbreviate it. It has a left side folding, authentic Izhmash stock. It's the modern style with the cutout for the grenade launcher pad. It has the smooth AK-100 series top cover. Polymer handguards with heat shield in them. And even though this muzzle device is a US made part, It's really the closest you're going to get to an AK-74M muzzle brake. It has the long collar up here, as you see. Up here it's not correct the way it's cut out. The other one's a two-piece, this one's a one. But finding an original Russian AK-74 muzzle brake is quite difficult. It can be done, but it's just not a common part. So next to finding one of those, this is about as good as it gets. This is a U.S. part made by Arsenal. Anyway, these were imported, I think they started in very late 2010, 2011. When these came out, I was very excited because this is a very close example of an AK-74M, whereas the SLR-104FR is an AKS-74. I know it just sounds like a small thing, but in the grand, design, outline-wise, they're very close, except for, of course, the furniture. But all the little things are different. The top cover, as I said, the gas block has a different shape up here. The threads under here have a longer collar. The block itself is cast a little differently. The scope mount is actually shaped a bit differently. And of course this is a Russian gun, whereas the other one is Bulgarian. This was made at the Izhmash factory. Comes out of the Legion section of that factory. Now there's been, back when these came out and were available, and they were about $1,100, $1,200, people really enjoyed them, including myself. Nowadays they're getting quite hard to find because they haven't been imported recently due to lack of parts. Nothing to say with recent political events, just before that even they were hard to get with the folding stock. And people have started to kind of, pass them over, and I understand the price. They're going for ridiculous money now. But still yet, I think it's a very nice example of an AK-74M. Yes, everywhere you go mentions that they don't have this tiny little plate here behind the trigger. The funny thing about it is, before everyone heard everyone talking about the plate, no one even knew to even look for them. It's a thing, but it's not really a thing. It's just one of those things that people point out. But I like to have it, sure. Does the 104FR have it? Definitely, and that's nice. But it's not something that just jumps out at you. Another thing people have been talking about is internally that it uses a commercial hinge mechanism from Russia, which has the cutout for the safety. Over there in Russia, folding stocks are only legal if when they're folded they disable the gun, so it's internally different. I looked into mine and I compared it to the 104FR over there and a couple of other kits, and it seems to have the exact same internal parts as any other military gun, so I'm not really sure if that's a possibility thing or what's going on there. I just really don't know. Nothing I've really noticed before. There's a few other things. At the end of the day, these are both damn reliable guns. They're both very good guns in 5.45x39. One is Bulgarian, one is Russian. They're both extremely reliable. Mine, at least here, has nice fit and finish, no complaints with it. The markings are fine, crisp, no real complaints. I was thrilled to get a Russian gun. I was thrilled to get a Bulgarian gun. I do agree right now these are a little expensive based on what they are, but they are far from being dogs. They are very nice guns, especially back when you could get them for just over $1,000 like the 104FRs are today. Now, if the 104FR ends up not being imported much more, its price could easily climb too, so just how it is. But I just wanted to share, we kind of felt like shooting 5.45x39 today. We haven't been out shooting it in a while. Just wanted to share a couple of my favorite guns and try out the 104FR for the first time, shoot this gun again for, whatever time, and yeah, share it with you. Thanks for tuning in.